Mr. Thayalan, 34 years old. That's his family, 9 children all in. That's his Mrs. Selvi. Got married in 1993 when he was 18 years old. They got married and they have successively had 9 children. The oldest is Tavarupini. She's now 17 years old. And she went up to standard 6 and then she dropped out, and today she wants to go out to work, but because she doesn't have any identity documentation, she's not able to do anything. And then her sister Priya, she's Davarupini enna vayasu? She's 17 years old. Priya enna vayasu? And she's 16 years old. Priya, same thing, went up to standard 5 and then dropped out. And she would like to continue in school, but she's not able to because she doesn't have her birth certificate and identity card. And then we have Bala Murugan. Enna vayassu pa? 15 years old. And he, same thing, he dropped out after standard 5 and would like to go back to school. And Bala Murugan, apra Dharani. Dharani, enna vayasu? She's 13 years old, and she hasn't been to school at all. Dharani hasn't been to school. School ke ponadilla illa? Dharani. And then Anbarasan over there. Ipdi paapa? Anbarasan, this Anbarasan. Unakku enna vayasu? He's 9 years old. He too hasn't been to school. Again, you know, all these children so far, what I have shown, they don't have birth certificates. Anbarasan and Yuvaraja is 8 years old, and he also has not been to school. And Kirtana, that's Kirtana, next year she's due to go to school, but she's the last of the children that doesn't have the birth certificate, so they have not done any registration. We hope to have her in school properly next year. And then the last 2 children, this is Madhavan, and that is Prabhu, and they have their birth certificates. The 7 others, they don't have any birth certificates. And it all started with Thayalan. He does not have an IC to start. Just now, how this whole problem occurred is on the birth of his first child, he went to the registration department and he was late in getting his child's registration done. He went to the registration department, and because he himself did not have his birth certificate and his IC, he was told that he cannot register his child. This is in spite of the fact that his wife is a citizen with all the documents in place, and in spite of the fact that the constitution clearly lays that either one of the parents, especially in this case the mother, because then marriage doesn't need to be proved, mother is a citizen, the child automatically becomes a citizen. So we don't understand how they turned him away. See, this is what happens to the poor in this country. So this is his experience. So he was told, no, cannot be done. In fact, he didn't say this now, but I know that he had a little quarrel with the officer, and then he came away with the feeling that, you know, they're not going to get it. So the second child and the third child, he didn't even try, he says, until the 8th child, when his wife went on her own and was able to get for the 8th and the 9th child.
படிக்க போக முடியல. ஸோ நாங்கள் எனக்கு ஆசை பிள்ளைங்க நிறைய படிக்கணும் அப்படின்னு 6வது வரைக்கும்.
What Selvi said is, you know, they've had many difficulties through their life, especially, you know, with the children. The older children ask them, when are we going to get our ICs? How about going to school? And she says, she tells them, be patient. We will find a way around, because I don't think she knows what else to tell them. And it has caused them a lot of anguish, you know, having to live a life like this. And she says they've been through much hardship over the years. Now, the question now arises, who is to blame for the predicament of this family? Who is to blame? Is Thayalan to be blamed? Is his parents to be blamed? He doesn't have an IC. Or is it the system to be blamed? I think, yes, it will not be true if we don't say that Thayalan doesn't have a blame. But more than that, if you look at this whole scenario, this whole problem in another way, such kinds of problems don't occur randomly. They occur under very specific circumstances. There is a pattern about these where these problems occur. Clearly, let me just say how the pattern that repeats. We've had so many cases, and in each of the case, more or less this would be true. The affected family, most of the families are Indian families, and this problem occurs where the family is extremely poor. As you can see, the depressed circumstances around Thayalan, and they live from day to day. One day's earning is what they get for that day's expenditure. So much so, if they have to go to the JPN, to the IC office, or the government offices every now and then, it becomes not feasible from their standpoint, because every day they lose their day's income, right? And generally the parents are illiterate. In this case, Thayalan went up to standard 6. He's semi-literate. He can read, but he cannot write, and he can read only in Tamil. And generally they live in squatter colonies and along the edges of urban centers. And these squatter colonies are really a result of the push out from the estates because of the estate fragmentation policies of the 60s, 70s and the 80s. Many of them actually came here totally devoid of any support, and had only their working power to live by. And then as a result of which, the whole system, the value system breaks down, the whole system breaks down. And to top it all up, the procedures, if you're delayed in getting a birth certificate, the procedures in getting the birth certificate are so overwhelming that these people have no clue how to handle it on their own. And then they become dependent, and sometimes, they, fall into wrong hands, and, they get taken for a ride for years, and only to find that they have not really made any progress, as what Thayalan mentioned just now. And the national registration system that we have in our country is breaking down at the fringes where Thayalan lives, and where Meenakshi and where Mariyappan live. In all these fringes, the national registration system is breaking down. Now, more than us, I think the government knows better that the system is breaking down. But yet, for all these years, we don't know, if it is because they are at the end of their wits, not knowing how to fix their registration system, or is it that they don't care and these people don't matter. We think the system could easily be fixed. We have some proposals, and if the government is serious in resolving this issue, then they should take up our proposals seriously. The proposals to change that I have are like this. The JPN needs to set up a special unit now within JPN with a charter to eliminate this problem of statelessness among the poor generally, and among the Indian poor specifically, within the next 3 years. In my opinion, this is a very doable thing, provided adequate resources and adequate manpower to manage this whole process is allocated within the JPN. And then the government needs to discard old methods of birth registration and replace with new methods. Today, with the e-government system, it becomes a very straightforward thing. The hospital should be given the responsibility for registering every birth. Once the information goes into the database, there you have it, it's there. Then afterwards, it's just a matter of issuing the birth certificate, and the IC comes a little after that, with addition of a little bit more information. When a citizen is delayed in getting their birth certificate or ICs, the whole process needs to be simplified. Today, this is one of the major problems that causes them to, they get what they tell me, they feel leche after some time. They say, never mind, it's okay, we're fed up. Because they don't get treated well, they get turned around so many times, and they don't know what to do, and they don't have anybody to help them. After some time, they just give up. So they need to be simplified.